I'm Aryeh Schwartz, along with Rachel Galligan, and welcome to the Winsidr show where it's all about the W. A big honor and joy to welcome a household name in the WNBA. She played in the W, won Olympic medals for the Opals, won a Coach of the Year award, and a WNBA championship. Now, coaches the Opals, and more importantly, the New York Liberty. Liberty head coach, Sandy Brondello. If you like our show, please consider joining our Patreon community, patreon.com/Winsidr. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can directly show support for the hard work we do covering the W. And don't forget to see our amazing staff's written content over at winsidr.com. You looking to get tickets for the upcoming WNBA season? Thanks to our sponsor, TickPick, you don't have to worry. The original no-fee ticket site and official ticketing partner of the WNBA champion, Chicago Sky. Use the link www.tickpick.com/Winsidr for all your upcoming ticket purchases for WNBA, NFL, NBA, or any other event. Coach, welcome to the show. So happy to have you to chat all things New York Liberty. And really selfishly, I love speaking with you because I always walk away feeling like I learned something. But how are you and where are you right now?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on the show today. I am traveled all day from Sydney, Australia, and am now in Belgrade, Serbia, getting ready for the World Cup qualifier with the Australian Opals. So it's been a busy day, but happy to be here.
How long was that flight?
That was quite a long flight. It's 14 hours from Sydney to Dubai. I think we had about a 5 hour stop over there, and then another 6 hours to Serbia. But it's that's what you have to do when you live in Australia. You live so far away from a lot of countries.
Wow. Well, I'd never want to fly that long. But before we get into your new job as the New York Liberty head coach, I want to ask you something because I recently was reading your Wikipedia page. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if you wrote it or maybe your kids wrote it. But is it true that your father built you a grass court to play basketball in when you were a kid growing up? I feel like it sounds like the basketball version of Field of Dreams.
Well, I wouldn't say. I think the grass was already there. What he did, we had a water tank in the backyard, and if that was a long time ago, and he built me a backboard because my mother couldn't drive, so couldn't take me into the city, which was about 35 minutes away to practice. And my dad's a sugarcane farmer, so for 6 months, 7 months of the year, it's obviously very, very busy. So he just got some wood together, about 6 slabs of wood, and painted it white, and put the square on it, and got a ring, and just put it up on the water tank, and I would just go out and shoot hoops. So I only could do that. That's why I was probably good at catch and shoot and one bounce, because two bounces with an uneven grass court wasn't ideal.
That's how you got so good at your handles, I have to imagine. Trying to
Yeah, I think my shooting was better than my handles.
Okay. I do want to expand on that, your upbringing a little bit. You grew up in Queensland. I want to know, how did you fall in love with this game? Tell us your story a little bit, from your childhood to your youth to pros to Opals to WNBA. I know that's a whole show within itself, but just a little bit about your journey from start.
Yeah, no, definitely. My sister, it just happened that my sister joined a team with some of her friends, and I was watching her. We lived outside of Mackay in a little town called Draper's Siding, and it's probably not even on the map. But it was very small. But a country team was looking for some more players out near where I lived, and asked if I was interested, and I just fell in love with it. From the first time I played on. I was really involved in track and field at that time, and quite good. So I think I enjoyed just the obviously having teammates, to be quite honest. And yeah, just I had a natural ability, I suppose you could say, and had pretty good success. And I was, like I said, the track and field. I was Australian champion in long jump when I was 12 years of age, but I always had more satisfaction by playing basketball. And at the age of 15, I chose basketball and put, focused on that. Went to the Australian Institute of Sport at 17. A year later, I was playing for the Opals, and, just obviously living a dream, and not even knowing what I could go on to next with, playing pro. But, loved playing for the Opals, and then had the opportunity to go and play in Germany and then the WNBA. And Yeah, 18 years later, that was my career. I was just, from starting as a semi-professional pro at 17 until the age of 36, and it was an awesome time that I had, and yeah, especially coming from my dad's a sugarcane farmer. There was only 50 kids that went to my whole primary school. So sometimes have to pinch myself about where I am at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I have to go back from one track and field / basketball person to another. That's such a fun fact. I did not know that about you. I was a high jumper, so certainly a
Okay.
lot of respect going out to the jump squad and the amount of work that has to go into that. Um, your WNBA experience. What was your draft experience like? You didn't necessarily go through the collegiate system, obviously here in the States, and you had a chance to play for the Miami Soul. I think it was for 2 years during your career. That's a team that doesn't get talked about a lot. So I want to ask about your draft experience and then what the Soul was like.
Yeah, look, my draft experience really was back in 1998, and I was drafted in the fourth round by the Detroit Shock. Nancy Liebman Klein was their head coach at the time there, and there was a few Aussies on that team. And I can remember being in Japan when we got that call, and Michelle Timms was the first Australian to go the year before, and we wanted to do that too. And being a real competitor, I wanted to play against the very best. But I think at that time, back in those days, I don't think Australia was heavily scouted. But yeah, went in the fourth round, and playing in Detroit for 2 years was great. And then I sat out for the Olympic year in 2000, and there was an expansion draft, and Miami picked me up. And obviously, everyone would love that experience living in Miami, especially a girl from Queensland that lives by the beach. So it was really good for me. And after that, I ended up going to, they folded Miami Soul, and I signed for 1 year with the Seattle Storm. And before focusing on my last year and playing basketball in 2004 with the Australian Opals, and I finished playing basketball at the Athens Olympics.
And then we fast forward many, many years. Obviously, going through your time as an assistant, your time with Phoenix. Now you have taken over as the Liberty head coach. I know we skipped a lot there. We'll kind of touch on it as we go back, but I think a lot of people, most people would probably agree. I mean, if there's a place to be right now, it is with the New York Liberty. What this franchise is doing, and the amount of support that is around. I mean, it is just, I'm excited to see where this franchise can be in the next few years. I'm curious from your standpoint, the current makeup of this roster in terms of the standings in the league and it truly being in contention. Where do you see it in this current state?
Well, I think it's always exciting in this free agency, isn't it? I mean, there's so much been going on, but look, I'm really happy with the players that we've added. I think Steph Dolson. I think Jonathan and I were on the same page of what we needed. I think this team had a really strong foundation when I took it over. They showed a lot of improvement. And now it's just getting the right pieces to complement it to get it to that next level. And I think Steph Dolson is a key piece there, and just giving us a big five, that big anchor in the middle that can be really effective for us at both ends of the floor. And everyone knows what she's capable of. But just excited to see the development of the other core, like Sabrina. I think Benijah, Natasha, they're going to get better and better every year. And you're getting a veteran player around it. I think that helps. I think re-signing Beck Allen was really strong for us as well too. And the other younger players, I think Dee Dee took steps forward this year, last year, and Michaela as well, obviously rookie of the year. We got Jocelyn Willoughby, Kylie Shook, all really talented players, got a really lot of potential. So, we know obviously to win in this league, you have to have, talent. I think we have talent, but so does every team. I think we have to stay healthy. This team didn't stay healthy last year, and them just be peaking at the right time. So I'm excited about the opportunity ahead, and to working with these players, and and really putting a lot of pressure on a lot of teams and seeing how far we can go.
I want to talk a little bit about Beck Allen's skill set. I mean, in my opinion, it seems like she's playing some of the best basketball of her career, and she fits in with this roster so nicely. Last year she kind of had to be used a little bit at the four a lot alongside Wnba. I think she's obviously that type of player that can be versatile and do a lot of different things. Do you project those two to kind of play in small lineups, or do you kind of expect her maybe going back to the three, just kind of getting technical with some of your rotations?
Yeah, look, she'll be playing in the perimeter more for me. I mean, will she play in the four as a backup? I mean, it depends on, injuries and teams that we're playing, to be quite honest. But
Right.
I think Beck excels when she's playing more of her natural position in the 2 and the 3, and getting her off some down screens, some flare screens, out of movement. Put her in actions, as a spacer, because we know she's a great shooter as well too. But she's really a good defender with the length that she has. She's able to guard from 1 to 4, and I think that's a luxury that this team will have. And please excuse me, I also forgot to name Sammy Whitcomb, and I've been working with Sammy the last week, so she was probably just fresh on my mind here. But look, having someone like Sammy as well on the team too it just adds another layer of how aggressive we can be at both ends of the floor, and just another shooter too. So some really, really great players, really, really excited, to get to work.
Well, you touched on it already. I want to get your take on free agency, how it's evolved over time. Now, we've got players posting on social media, traveling to different cities, meeting all over the country, whining and dining. On top of that, you're seeing super teams, superstars willing to take less. What are your thoughts on just free agency the last couple of years and just the hype that has been around it?
Look, I think it's great for the league. We're trying to obviously make this, as visible as we can, and exciting. And I think there's a lot of excitement during this period of time, and we've got players that are moving. We all want to win a championship, so we're just trying to find the right pieces to do that. And you're going to see, what your favorite player in a different jersey next year, and I think that just adds to the excitement. And I think it's great as long as the teams that I'm coaching are getting the players that we want, and I think we've done a good job of that. But other teams, a lot of teams have improved, and like I said, in the end, the winner is the WNBA, because our goal is to make sure that we're getting as much visibility so we can continue to grow this great game of ours.
Oh, I totally agree. And I think one of the huge aspects of free agency movement is it creates the conversation to continue throughout the whole offseason, right? Fans want to know what it's going to be like to have Steph Dolson on New York, right? Because we've known her for a huge portion of her career in Chicago, and yes, also in DC, but it adds that excitement and it creates the conversation that continues throughout the whole year. And I think when we continue to do that, that's when we'll see the W truly blossom. But back to the Liberty, I want to ask a tough question, so excuse me, but you've game planned against this Liberty team. Obviously, there's been some fluidity in the roster, and I know you're not going to give away too much of your secret sauce, but if you're willing to share any tidbits of your scout of them, or talk to us about what the areas of improvement are in your mind.
Yeah, look, I think I spoke about that in the press conference a little bit too. Is like just going in. I think this is a team obviously can shoot a lot of threes. They're very, that's 30 per game, and they shot at really high rate. So I think that's good. We know that threes is important, but I think for us to get to that next level, I think all teams are most effective when they have an inside outside attack. And that's where Steph Dolson comes in. But she's also a very capable 3-point shooter as well, which will open up the floor for Tash and other players like Benijah and that to get into the paint. Because I think you have to have a real good mixture, inside outside attack, and that's where obviously defense. I think that's an area this team needed to get better at, and that will be our identity. But defensively, that's creating offensively, being aggressive where we can. But then offensively, it's just playing selfless basketball, to be quite honest. And if the threes are there, I think that's great. But we have to make sure that we just being a little bit more harder to guard in terms of getting downhill, getting the ball inside, and maybe we'll create even better shots. Especially having a player like Steph Dolson, who's a really great passer as a post player, and that's a unique skill to have in that position.
You clearly see my show notes because I wanted to talk about Steph Dolson's passing ability. Because when I looked at this Liberty team last year, I mean, they were one of those teams that you just didn't want to face because everyone knew they had the ability to go up against the best teams in the league and really push them to the limit. I mean, I lost track of how many of their games were down to the wire, and for me, one of the big question marks was turnovers. And when you add an elite passer like Steph Dolson, I think you're elevating that and hopefully kind of lessening the turnovers. But something I want to ask you as the coach, so often when I talk to people in the W, players, GMs, anyone affiliated with the league, they talk about continuity and the importance of that to create success for the team. but very often we kind of skim over, skip over the continuity of coaches. And how coaches can impact the players. So I'm curious for you, like, can you talk a little bit about the importance of continuity as a roster, but also just for a coach?
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, and that's why I think like the second year, like last year, I think Jonathan did a great job of bringing some really good players in, and they had to face a lot of adversity with their injuries as well. But look, the more time you spend together, the better you get as a team. And Sabrina was a little bit injured. We know that Natasha was out for a while too, and you want your best players to learn, obviously how it all works on the court. So I think that continuity from year to year certainly does help, especially with your core group. So I'm excited about growing that. But then I think you talked about the turnovers. You need that veteran leadership too, like how to win in those close games. And I think that's what Steph will bring. But also another year with the players, that they have on this team from last year, just continue to play, more time together, because sometimes that's what it takes. As a coach, basically, and I'm excited. Obviously, I had 8 great years in Phoenix and really great memories, but I'm ready to make some new memories with the New York Liberty, and I think it's a really exciting, talented group and a wonderful organization. And hopefully, I can spend another 8 years with New York. But we want to win, we want to be successful, but we want to play in the right way. And I can't wait. I think it's great. I think it's going to be one of the best leagues ever in the WNBA, and it keeps going from strength to strength every single year.
Well, you kind of touched on this. I mean, you kind of have a little bit of an advantage, or maybe you don't see it as that way, but Sabrina, Laney, Howard, and Dolson are all taking part in Team USA camp right now. Do you see that as an advantage of just getting those players together, and getting a little bit more run together? Obviously, you're not coaching Team USA, so you don't get to, say, hey, those ones are running together on this practice or during this game. But do you think that helps, create a bond or relationship for these players to take over into the WNBA season?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think of those relationships. We talk about culture. I think that's so important to building winning championship teams. And, these players obviously just really quality people. And I mean, they want to win, but I think they want to win in the right way. So I think forming those relationships and building them, and, through the good and the bad, that's where you can find, the right culture, and the success will come from that. So I think that's great. It's got a great opportunity individually, obviously, for them to put the play for USA basketball. I know everyone takes pride in representing their country, and they will be no different. So I think that kind of helps. And then, like I said, it just takes time to get that cohesive unit. Obviously, new coaching staff coming in. It's just making sure. My goal is to make sure I put them in the right spots that we can be successful, and when we're not, is we're learning from it, and we're trying to adapt to what we need to do to get to the level that we want to win games at, and that's our goal. So excited, really, really excited about the challenge, and just got a lot of potential on this team. We're young, but we still got some veteran, leadership there as well too. So, and I think that's what you need to get to that next level.
You touched on the excitement of taking over a new team and how you had been with Phoenix for 8 years. And I feel like I have to ask the question, because so many WNBA fans, they think of you and they think of Phoenix, and you've been linked to Diana Taurasi in that Phoenix era and the greatness there. But now you're in a totally different situation. And a lot of people, I mean, myself and Rachel included, are excited to see you in this new light. What is that light like for you? Is it kind of like a rebirth? Is it reinvigorating? Like, what does that feel like to you to be in this new situation?
Look, I'm just really grateful to be still coaching the WNBA. I have so much passion for this game. I have for all my life, to be quite honest, and to get an opportunity with an organisation, and to lead a team like the Liberty. I mean, that I think that would excite anyone. But like I said, I love coaching. I like the challenge of day in, day out, trying to make not just players better, teams better. I'm a former player myself. I think that certainly helps, with helping, players handle whatever adversity, that will come throughout a season, because there will be adversity. That's just a part of it, and it's how we handle it and how we get to that next level. So, I love coaching in WNBA. I love competing against the very best coaches here and the very best teams, and yeah, just super excited and honored to be the head coach of the Liberty.
I speak for everyone in the world when we say we are so excited that you are in the W and so thrilled for this new opportunity. I've got a couple more questions for you before we let you go. I know you're probably exhausted and need to go get some sleep, but I want to ask, the way your life is designed, it's hard. I mean, it's just amazing what you've been able to do. How do you balance everything from the WNBA to the Opals to your family? And like you said, that adversity that comes with this game and just the makeup of this game and this lifestyle.
Yeah, Rachel, I think, look, you have to have a great support around you, especially, look, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm also a coach, but I have a really supportive husband and children that love being a part of this journey as well. So I think that certainly helps, obviously with all life being a coach as well. I mean, he's been a, great voice for me over the years, and just that support, we make it work, that we can, everyone can live, just live their dreams. And just I think it is a busy lifestyle, but I just love what I do. I like to work hard, so I like the game of basketball, but I also love being a mum. And it's great that our children can enjoy in the journey that we're on as well. And I think that's great for them too. Different experiences. I mean, they've traveled, lived all around the world as well, and now they get to spend some time in a really cool city of Brooklyn.
Last one I've got for you. What advice would you give the young girl growing up, playing on a dirt road in Queensland, wanting to grow up as a professional in this game and to be successful in life?
Yeah, look, I think it just comes back to just really having fun. I mean, this is my passion. Find your passion and do whatever it takes to get there. But in the beginnings, having positive role models, and then daring to dream. I put out in the universe from a very small town outside of Mackay that I wanted to play for Australia, and not everyone thought that was possible from where I came from. But look, anything's possible, if you have the will to do it. And I think you just got to keep believing in yourself, have the right people around you in the circle, and just keep working hard and enjoy the process.
Thank you so much, Sandy Brondello, for joining us today and joining our podcast. Always a pleasure to have you on. We wish you the absolute best success these coming months, and obviously the rest of free agency, into the draft, and into this WNBA season. I'm so excited to see what this Liberty roster can do. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Looking to sponsor an episode of the Winsidr Show? Email us info@winsidr.com. And if you're making some WNBA merchandise purchases at Breaking Tea, use the link breakingtea.com/Winsidr. Have a great day.